everyone, Screaming Geek Media here. I am Jerry the Geek. Today we're going to talk about my top 10 vampire movies. But before we get into that, if you like physical media, if you like 4Ks, Blu-rays, even DVDs, check out my other videos on my channel because I do these discussions, I do collection updates, unboxing, I do reviews. Check that stuff out. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and always comment below, let me know what you think of anything. So today's topic is my top 10 vampire movies. I've been thinking about doing this as the theme of October for me was vampires. So, which I just did a video of everything I watched. And of course, yesterday I saw that Tony over at Basement Blues, he's always had some great content. He did his top 10 vampires. Like, damn it, he beat me to it. So I went through and I gathered mine up and seen what I liked. We're going to start off with some honorable mentions first. Now, first up is one I have not seen in many years. I don't own it, so I didn't get a chance to watch it this last month. I couldn't find it on free streaming. I wasn't paying for it. And it is Interview with a Vampire. Again, I haven't seen it in many years. So if I watch it now, I'm not sure where it would end up, if it would make my top 10 or not. I remember, liking the movie, but also at the same time, I knew it was a long movie, kind of a slow burn. So that's why it isn't in the list where it probably would be in a lot of people's top 10 list. So my next honorable mention would be Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy. This is definitely underrated. People really don't talk about it. And I think it's a great movie. It's one of his good ones, and it's a lot of fun. If you like vampires, it's a good movie. It's got some, again, it's a fun movie. It's got a little bit of comedy in it, but not a lot. Most of the comedy is through a sidekick. It's hilarious because as he's kind of turning a little bit, he's kind of things are falling apart throughout the whole movie. It's freaking hilarious. So that's why it makes my honorable mention. Next honorable mention is Dracula Untold, which I even did a review of this a while back, because it's a 4K here. It's a nice, different telling of the Dracula story. So if you haven't seen this one, definitely it's worth checking out. Next honorable mention, we've got Renfield with Nicolas Cage. I did a review of this as a 4K here. This is really, I really enjoyed this. There's a lot of people out there who didn't care for it. But I really did. I liked the, telling instead of focusing on the Dracula. It was all about, the character of Renfield. He's the go-to guy, does everything for him. But he wants to get away from out of the shadow and do his own thing. So this is a really good movie in my opinion. Next honorable mention is a movie that most people do not like. Morbius. I really liked the movie, and a lot of it's, because I'm unbiased because I did not follow the character as far as comics go. So when I watch it, it's just a clean slate. I don't have any expectations for it. So I really enjoyed this movie. And of course, you can see here, there's a 4K, has a lenticular cover to it. That's pretty cool. Again, a lot of people hate this movie, but I really love this. Last of my honorable mentions would be Underworld. It's a great, and talks about the story, about the war between the Lycan, the werewolves, and vampires. And of course, Kate Beckinsale, the outfit she has in this, she looks freaking hot. I definitely want to see this on 4K. But yeah, Underworld, this is the last of my honorable mentions. Now, getting into my top 10. Coming at number 10, it's probably one you're wondering why it's so low on a list. We got Bram Stoker's Dracula. 10, 20 years ago, this probably would have been high on a list. But I think over time, because there's parts of the movie that are kind of a slow burn, I can see why today's generation probably doesn't like it, because it's all about developing the story, the characters. There's a lot of dialogue. So yeah, there's times where it's kind of just wanders around. It's definitely is a lot longer than probably could have been, but it is a great classic movie, just not high on my list anymore. Now, coming at number 9, we have Dracula 2000. Probably another surprise entry for some of you. I really enjoy this because it's kind of an updated version of Dracula. It brings them into the 20th century. And you got Gerard Butler actually playing Dracula. You got Omar Epps, Christopher Plummer. So it's got a really good cast, great characters. And so this is a really good movie. I've seen this a few times, and that's why I had to put this in my top 10 list. So Dracula 2000, number 9. Coming in at number 8, 30 Days a Night. This was a first time watch for me last month. This is a freaking great movie. It has Josh Hartnett in it. Has to do with this little town in northern Alaska where, for 30 days out of the year, there is no sunlight whatsoever. So a lot of the townsfolk, they actually leave town, go down to the, lower 48 states for that month, and then they come back. So during that 30 days, or should say 30 nights, you only have a select, small group of individuals that actually stay in town, and you got a group of vampires that show up and wreak havoc. So this is a really good movie. I really like this. That's why I put this at number 8. Coming at number 7 is one I do not own because it did not get a 4K release, just a Blu-ray, and that is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's actually a story. It's a chapter out of Bram Stoker's Dracula novel. So it's a nice companion piece to the actual Bram Stoker's Dracula movie. And I think this is, in my opinion, is actually better. I saw this at the theater. I really enjoyed it. Then it came out, a year ago. Last October, it got put on Blu-ray. And here it is a year later. It has not been announced for 4K yet. And I don't know what the hell is going on with Universal. Wish I'd quit pulling this shit because we want the choices. And I am not going to buy the Blu-ray and turn around and buy the 4K. But I really enjoy this movie. It's got some really good action, got the great story, and it's all dedicated to the actual voyage on the ship. Now, coming in at number 6 is actually a nice classic. We got Stephen King's Salem's Lot. This is a great movie, even today after all these years. There's a couple times it has a little bit of a slow burn, but not a lot. It's actually got a good story from the get-go. Again, after all these years, I still really like this movie. That's why I put this at number 6. Now, coming in at number 5 is a kind of a newer movie. I forget when this came out. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. I've watched this a couple times now. Phenomenal movie. I really love this. If you haven't seen this, give this a whirl. I think you'll actually like this. A different telling of the story of Abraham Lincoln. I mean, they pull in real life events from Abraham Lincoln's story, but they mixed into the different the tales of he was actually a vampire hunter. So yeah, I really love this movie and had to put this in my top 10. So yeah, this comes in at number 5. Coming at number 4, we have Blade with Wesley Snipes. Another great movie here. This definitely probably this place is high on everyone's list. He's a part vampire, part human, so he's a day walker. Great movie here. So, Blade, number 4. Now, coming at number 3, this could easily be a number 1 on a lot of people's lists. But just got knocked down a couple notches from the other ones. But so number 3 is Fright Night, which I just did a review of this 4K recently. This is the first time I've seen this in many years. Great movie, and it still holds up after all these years. So number 3, Fright Night. Now number 2, it's another one that could be number 1, but you'll probably be surprised it didn't get my number 1. The Lost Boys. Phenomenal movie. Another one it's aged very well. Just as good today as it was when it came out. Great cast, great story. Got some great action sequences, but it just didn't make number 1 spot. So Lost Boys, number 2. So before getting into my number 1, let's just do a quick recap of the top 10. Number 10 was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Number 9, Dracula 2000. Number 8, 30 Days of Night. Number 7, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Number 6, Salem's Lot. Number 5, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Number 4, Blade. Number 3, Fright Night. And number 2, Lost Boys. Now, after all those, you're probably wondering what in the world would be my number 1 that would knock out Lost Boys. I just had to. John Carpenter's Vampires. A good part of that is, the music score was actually done by John Carpenter. It's freaking phenomenal. I mean, when you're watching it, it's just, the audio track is just so kick-ass. You just crank it up. And you got James Woods. I mean, it's got a great cast to it. Got some great action. It's got a little bit of Western flair to it. But yeah, that's why I just had to put this at my number 1 vampire movie. John Carpenter's Vampires. And of course, you can see here is the crappy DVD. This needs a 4K. I'm eagerly awaiting for that. So there you have it. My top 10 vampire movies. Probably some good surprises in there for you. Probably bad surprises you would not expect. But that's my thought after just watching all these last month, while they're fresh in my head. Again, that's probably why Interview with a Vampire didn't make the list, because I haven't seen it in years and not sure where it would be. That's why I stuck it in my honorable mention list. Please comment below. Let me know what you think of my list. What are your favorites? Let me know what your top 10 would be. Everything's subjective. I respect everybody's opinions. We're all different. I'm definitely out of the box thinking. I'm sometimes considered the weird one of the bunch. So again, comment below, let me know what you think. Check out my other videos on my channel. Like, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and we'll see you soon. Geek out.